What's up guys, welcome back to Finance to Fly. My name is Luke and I'm here to help you elevate your travel while minimizing your spending. Today we're covering the United Quest card. This is going to be review number 2 out of 3 for the United personal cards. We're reviewing them because they just all got revamped. And good thing I didn't do a review on this one before, so it's going to be completely fresh to the channel, and let's jump in. Like I mentioned before, this was just revamped in March. The annual fee is now $350 and the sign-up bonus is 90,000 miles plus 500 PQPs after $4,000 spent in the first 3 months. That was the debut offer, and I would recommend, if that offer is back, to jump on it. Right now it's probably at 70 to 80,000 miles plus the 500 PQPs as its standard offer. For earnings rates, you'll earn 3 points per dollar spent on United purchases, 5 miles per dollar spent on hotels booked through the Renowned Hotels and Resorts, which is United's hotel collection, 2 miles per dollar spent on all other travel and dining, select streaming services, and then 1 point per dollar spent everywhere else. So for a high price of $350, what are you getting with this card? First off, you're going to get a free check bag, first and second check bag for you and a companion you're traveling with. You'll get 25% back on in-flight purchases, a TSA/global entry credit, and you'll start off with a bonus of 1,000 PQPs per year. Then they advertise you'll get $700 in annual partner credits. Let's jump into those. First off, you'll get a $200 travel bank credit, $150 back through their hotel collection, Renowned Hotels and Resorts, a $100 rideshare credit, which is just $8 a month plus $12 in December. You'll get an $80 Avis/budget rental car credit, which is travel bank cash. This is going to be 2 $40 credits after each of your first 2 purchases. You'll get a $150 JSX credit, and then 2 Instacart credits, one for $10 and one for $5 each month, for a total of $180. And then lastly, you'll obviously get some travel and purchase protections and no foreign transaction fees. So that was a lot again, a lot of new credits on this card. What are you gonna get for that $350 annual fee when you pay year after year? We're gonna kind of keep it similar to the first card. You obviously got those free check bags. That's gonna count $80 total. It'll be a very conservative value. We're assuming you only check a bag once, one bag one time for a round trip ticket just for yourself. Obviously you can do a lot more than that and you can get a lot more value out of that, especially because you get first and second check bags free. If you have a family of 4, it is great for those family vacations. You get to check 2 bags, your spouse gets to check 2 bags, your kids don't have to check any because theirs are checked under you, and it's all good because you just saved $320 on a round trip ticket for checked bags. Next up, you have the Travel Bank Crash credit. It's $200. You pretty much get that off the bat. It goes straight to your travel bank. Honestly, it's kind of great credit, I'll be honest with you. Pretty simple to use. Go use your travel bank cash and it's right there, so $200 in value there. Next, you're gonna get $150 back after a prepaid hotel stay for the Renowned Hotels and Resorts through United's hotel program. This isn't a terrible credit. It's $150 after just making 1 booking, and honestly, I'd say it's pretty easy to get the $150 out of the whole value because it's not like it's the 2 $50 credits on the Explorer card. This is a one-time $150 credit, and it definitely makes it worth it booking through that hotel portal, especially if there's a cheap one-night rate that you have to stay at. Then next up, you're going to get that $100 total rideshare credit, $8 a month and $12 in December. This should be pretty easy to use. It's just not as much as $10, but it's still $8. $8 can get you a ride within a city, a short ride obviously, but that's a pretty decent credit, and as long as you don't have too many other credits for ride shares, it's pretty easy to use, but there's always a chance that you do miss a month or 2 just because you might not have a ride share option to use that time. We'll give it $80 value just because you'll probably miss a month or 2 if you aren't religiously following this card's credits. Then you do have the 2 rental car credits, $40 twice after your first 2 bookings with Avis or budget. These are travel bank cash. It's great, don't get me wrong, travel bank cash, I'll take it because it is similar to cash, but you do have to spend it with United. You would have to make more purchases with it, and just because you may not want to book a rental car through their rental car program portal, you're probably only going to use it maybe once, so I'd only value it at $40. Next up, you have the JSX $150 credit. Very similar to that Explorer card. Each of these cards have this JSX credit, 100, 150, 200. This 150, it's like, it could make sense in some situations and it definitely doesn't in others. Still, it makes it very confusing to me why someone would book JSX other than the times or the availability, other than booking just United. Since you have a United card, why don't you just book United, you know? I don't think a lot of people will use this credit just because I would rather book United, get my miles there and everything, than book JSX. So in total, you're probably gonna only get about $15 in value. You'll probably use it once in a great while, so I'm only giving it $15 in value because it's not something you're going to heavily rely on to get some good value out of this card. Obviously, there are situations where people will use this credit every year, but for the majority of people, I don't think they are using this JSX credit because they're just going to go fly United and get the miles, get the status, get the PQPs, PQFs, stuff like that. Lastly, you have the Instacart credits. $10 and $5 a month. If this was just a $15 credit, that would be great. It'd be super easy to use and honestly incentivize you a little bit to use Instacart. Thing is though, it's Instacart. You have 2 credits to use. I know that a lot of people do use Instacart already, and if you do use Instacart already and are getting this card, nice, you get a $10 off your first order, then $5 off your second order each month. It's a little bonus that's just a little bit nice. For those that don't use Instacart, I doubt you're gonna start using it over these credits. Good delivery fees, you have tips, stuff like that. It's more expensive to do this than just go buy your groceries normally. So I don't know if it would be useful for a lot of people. And so I feel like this will help 25% of the time. Maybe you have these one-off instances where you need to Instacart something because you can't leave the house because you got something going on. It helps out with that. So that's why I'm going to give it a $45 value, or 25% of what it is worth, just because you may use it sometime, but most likely you aren't, unless you already are using Instacart. In total, the card value, where I see where all the perks come from for all the credits, it rounds out around $610, or about $260 more than what you pay for the annual fee. Of course, this can range widely. You can use those free check bags for 2, 3, 4 flights, and you can get a lot of value out of that. I mean, that's $80 per person round trip for pretty much up to 4 people, because you can check 4 check bags for free. Then you obviously can use a lot of the credits more to get more value. Obviously, you can get the $150 out of JSX every year. I valued it at $15. You might value it at $150 because you actually use JSX. It's a very volatile card, and I thought my valuation is pretty conservative, so if you can use more, let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Moving on to some redemptions, I figured I'd keep with the theme. Of flying from Cleveland, and this time, instead of heading to Latin America, we're gonna head to the Scandinavia. This first redemption, we are going to be booking a Cleveland to Stockholm business class ticket on United. They have some pretty solid award rates. Obviously, they're not the best. They're not Alaska. They're not American award rates, but they're pretty solid. I mean, 88,000 miles and $25 will get you that one-way business class ticket. Yes, you do have 2 stopovers, but there's only 1 flight on United heading to Stockholm directly, and if I do have to fly through Zurich, it's not such a terrible experience because I still get to fly business class overnight to Europe. Not to mention, you get to experience Swiss's business class and their business class up to Stockholm. I did pretty much the same thing on my own trip, and it was worth it. I loved that short haul business class experience on Swiss. They don't have the IFVs. They don't have a very comfortable seat. The food was excellent. But either way, you're only gonna pay 88,000 miles and about $26 for this flight. And normally this flight is gonna cost about $3,063. That is a great value for your points. Such a great value, you're gonna get a 3.45 cent per point value, which is what you get when you take the cash cost minus the taxes and fees and then divide by the points amount. It pretty much just measures how you value your points and how much value you're getting out of your points. Next up, we have another business class experience from Cleveland, this time to Helsinki, Finland. It's gonna be 88,000 miles and about $52 in taxes and fees. This will normally cost around $3,200, as you can see on the screen right now. Obviously, you got a little bit of a longer layover with the award flight, but hey, it's business class, you're enjoying that, that's great. If you don't care about the extra 4 or 5 hours of layovers, then business class is definitely worth it. Either way, you're gonna get 3.54 cents per point when you get the value out of these points, and that's a very solid redemption for United. Very, very good way to use your United miles. Last but not least, least, I wanted to look at a very unique redemption. A while back it was mentioned I should look for things up north, and one of the most northernmost airports is Tromsø in the Scandinavia. It is in Norway. It is pretty far up there. It's one of the farthest airports you can fly. It's not Svalbard, but really can't get a United redemption to there, so unfortunately I wasn't able to look that up. But either way, this is another business class experience. You'll have to connect through a few cities on this, and you'll have a longer layover in Stuttgart. You can go spend the day in Stuttgart, then fly out the next morning. But either way, business class is going to be 88,000 miles again, and $61 in taxes and fees. This does beat a near $3,000 cash price, and while it doesn't get you the best cent per point value compared to the other two redemptions we had, it's still a 3.30 cent per point value, which is very good for United Miles. Anything over 1.5 to 2 cents per point is a very good value for United Miles. So what are my thoughts on this card now, and who is this card for? Well, it's very interesting. It fits right in between the Explorer and the Cub card, but I think there's a little bit more value in it. I think this card is great for those who love flying United, but really try to minimize their amount of time they have in the airport. Obviously, if you are taking a connecting flight, there's a chance you do have a 2-hour, 3-hour layover. Most of the time, you'll only have an hour, hour and a half at most. If you are one of those United flyers that do have those flights and you don't really care about going to the lounges, this is a great card for you. I think this card gets more value out of all of its perks just because it doesn't have that high annual fee and because you don't have to pay for that club membership. I think this card is great for those who want to keep their cards under $500 in annual fees but still get a lot of value. I mean, off the bat you get that $200 United Travel Bank credit. Yes, it's Travel Bank, but chances are if you have a United card, you're booking United flights, so you'll be able to use that. It lowers the annual fee down to $150 pretty much immediately. Then you're comparing apples to apples in an Explorer card, and it's got all of the same credits as the Explorer card, but they're just a little bit better. They're a little bit more in value, and you just get a little bit more value out of them. I mean, it's the differences between the two $50 credits on the United Explorer card for the hotels to the $150 one-time credit with the renowned hotels and resorts. That's a big difference in how you're going to get the value out of them. Two $50 credits, you might not get one of them, you might not get both of them. $150 credit, you're going to probably try to go out of your way to make sure you get that, because that's $150 in value. It's pretty good value, and it's right in the middle of both of them. It takes the best from both of them, and it doesn't leave you stranded with a bunch of credits that you aren't going to use. In reality, you're probably going to use a bunch of these credits. It just depends on what your lifestyle is. If you don't use Instacart, you probably won't use those, and you probably won't get the value out of them. But if you do, that's great. It just adds to the value of the card. Another thing I really like about this card, it's got 2 free check bags for 2 people on your itinerary. It's great value right there. If you don't have United status, because you do get check bags with United status depending on how high you are, this is a great way to save money. Say you only fly United 4 times a year, 4 round trip tickets a year, maybe 5 or 6. I mean, you have to get 15 flights no matter what with United, as long as you're not spending $6,000 on flights. But either way, you have 4 round trip tickets, you and your wife and your 2 kids. Each of those round trip tickets could be $320 in check bag fees, but because you have the card, you're saving that money. It's going to save you over $1,200 in the long run, and that's because you don't have United status. Obviously, if you have United status, it's a different story. The free check bags does save a lot of money, and I do think this card has a place in a lot of people's wallets, pretty much whoever I just explained, or I guess relates to what I was just talking about. I think the 4 check bags total for free is a very different value than the Explorer card, which only gets 2 check bags for free. If you really like United, you really like flying with them, I would move you towards this card more than the Explorer card, just because that $200 United Travel Bank credit can be used pretty simply. Once you factor in the United Travel Bank credit, the same annual fee of $150. You get so much more value out of it compared to the Explorer card. Who also I wouldn't think this card is for? Someone who doesn't fly United, obviously, right? Don't get a card that you don't fly an airline for at least a couple times a year. If you have an airline card, you should be flying them a couple times a year. It just makes sense. It allows you to earn some extra points. Why would you have an airline card if you don't fly them? I mean, other than maybe a card that you got for the sign-up bonus that you'll use down the road, but that's a different story. But all in all, wrapping things up, what do you think? What do you think of the new additions to United Quest card? Do you think there's anything that they should have changed? Do you think there's anything they should remove? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you could hit that like and subscribe button, it would be greatly appreciated. Until next time, have a great day.